You sent the message. She read it, no reply. And now you're checking your phone every 10 minutes. You're replaying your last text in your head, and you're asking yourself whether maybe you said too much or too little, or maybe you're too confident or too dry. I mean, you're considering sending a follow-up message at this point. Maybe even a meme. Maybe a question mark. Anything to get her attention. Maybe an LOL. But please, stop. If she's leaving you unread, this is not a texting issue. It's a power, attraction, and perception issue. And today we're going to break it down properly in this video. If this has ever happened to you and you felt that wave of anxiety hit, please stay with me. Jessica OS here. Welcome to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to explain 3 things as clearly as I can. First, why women leave men unread in the first place, okay? Second, the exact mistakes men make that kill attraction when this happens. And lastly, what high-value men do instead to regain control without looking desperate or emotional. Are you ready? We're not guessing or hoping or chasing. We're recalibrating. So if you're ready for this journey, let's do it. When a woman leaves you unread, your brain immediately fills in the worst possible story, for the most part. She's not interested, there's another guy, I messed up. But the truth is more nuanced. And if you can't read that nuance, you'll keep sabotaging yourself. You see, there are 4, in my opinion, 4 real or main reasons that women leave men unread. And each one tells you something different about your position in her life. So let me explain. Give me a few minutes. The first reason, she's genuinely busy, but you're not her priority. So this is a more neutral explanation, maybe I should say. She saw your message while driving, working, in a meeting, or handling something in her life, and she planned to reply later, and that's the reality of her day. But hear me though, even when someone is busy, they make time for what excites them. Now, that doesn't mean she has zero interest. It simply means you're not top of her emotional stack. There's a difference between interest and urgency. Usually, early attraction creates urgency. Moderate interest creates delay. So ask yourself honestly, when you're highly interested in a woman, do you leave her hanging for 8 hours unless you truly can't respond? Rarely. You'll find a moment, even if it's short, right? So if she's consistently slow and casual with responses, it doesn't necessarily mean you're out. It means you're not yet emotionally gripping her. And it's not a texting problem, it's an attraction problem. The second reason she leaves you unread, she's testing emotional stability. Sometimes a woman leaves a message unread or unanswered because she's observing. Attraction is heavily tied to emotional control. She wants to see if you're secure or reactive. You send a message, she waits, and what happens next? If you double text within 20 minutes, or if you send a random follow-up, or if your tone shifts from confident to eager, you just revealed insecurity. You see, women are extremely sensitive to emotional shifts. We can tell when a man's confidence is conditional on our attention. Silence becomes a mirror. It reflects how stable you really are. The man who does nothing, who continues his day, who doesn't chase or reply, actually ends up communicating abundance without saying a word. And that is powerful. Third reason, her interest is cooling. Hear me. Sometimes she leaves you unread because her emotional investment has decreased or is decreasing. Attraction isn't static, it moves. It rises and falls based on tension, mystery, consistency, perceived value. If your conversations become too predictable, too available, too heavy, or too frequent, that excitement will drop. If you start over-validating her, over texting, etc., then the dynamic completely shifts. Now, my followers know this. Attention loses value when it becomes guaranteed. And this is where many guys spiral. Instead of pulling back and recalibrating, they're increasing effort by sending more texts, sending longer messages, sending deeper text messages, right? But attraction doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to contrast. If she feels you're too accessible, of course her urgency will decrease. When urgency decreases, response time stretches. And when that happens, you feel anxiety. When you react to that anxiety, attraction will drop further. It becomes this vicious cycle, a loop. Fourth reason, she's entertaining other options. So morning dating means multiple conversations are happening at once. If she leaves you unread, it could simply mean someone else has her attention at that moment. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you're inferior. It just means you're in competition with many other guys. The moment you try to compete harder, though, through maybe things like texting, you lower your value. You don't win by chasing attention. You win by being the most emotionally stable and grounded option in the room, if you know what I mean. If she's comparing, your calm detachment is more attractive than your anxiety. Now pause and think. Which of these scenarios feel familiar to you? Because the solution changes depending on the pattern. A one-time delay means nothing. A consistent shift means something. Emotional testing requires composure. Cooling interest requires reduced availability. But the one thing that never works is panic. Leaving you on red is not the problem. Your reaction to it determines whether attraction will survive. And that's the part a lot of guys never actually pay attention to. So let's jump into the biggest mistakes men make when they're faced with a situation. This is where most of the damage happens. And I'll share a couple of mistakes with you, okay? Because the damage happens not when she leaves you on red, but in the 10 minutes after you see it. The notification pops up, you open the message, she saw it, no reply, and now your mind starts sprinting. The sprint is where attraction quietly dies. Let's dissect the common reactions in detail. First mistake you're making, the double text spiral. You tell yourself that you're just clarifying. You send another message. Maybe it's light, maybe it's funny, maybe it's a soft nudge like LOL or, hey, you alive? You think you're keeping momentum, but what you're actually doing is revealing emotional dependence on her response. Now, the second text message is not neutral. It's communicating, your silence is affecting me, right? The moment your energy moves from relaxed to seeking, she'll feel it. Even if she can't articulate it, the dynamic will shift. When she senses that her delay caused you to react, your perceived value begins to drop. Not because you texted twice, but rather because you texted from a place of anxiety. Imagine this scenario. She's busy. She sees your message. She plans to reply later. Then she receives a second message. Suddenly that tone will shift. Now she'll feel pressure. Pressure will lower desire. You get where I'm going with this? Mistake number 2, over-explaining or over-investing. This one's more subtle, right? Instead of sending a short follow-up, you send more content. Longer texts, deeper texts, you try to prove that you're an interesting guy. Now, if she responds with one sentence and you reply with 3 paragraphs, the imbalance becomes apparent. You're investing more than she is. That imbalance signals higher need. High need, lowest perceived value. When you overinvest too early, you eliminate mystery. And mystery is oxygen for attraction, you see. Mistake number 3, passive aggression. This one's interesting. Some men go the exact opposite direction, like the far end. Instead of chasing, they react dramatically. They delay responses intentionally to teach her a lesson. They reply coldly. They change their tone. They try to signal that they're unbothered, but the energy carries a bit of resentment. This is still reactive behavior. The problem with passive aggression is that it's emotionally loud. She'll feel the shift. The vibe will change from playful to tense. A high-value move is calm adjustment, not emotional punishment. Okay? Mistake number 4 is seeking immediate closure. This one's very common with guys who value directness, right? Most of the time, they'll just confront the situation too early. Did I say something wrong? Are you still interested in this? Just let me know. It feels mature, even communicative. But early in dating, it often comes across as insecurity. Closure is attractive when the bond is strong and mutual. It feels heavy when the emotional investment is still forming. So if she's unsure about you, that kind of direct pressure will force a decision. And when people feel pressured, most people will choose the exit. Now, I need you to pause and think for a second. Every one of these mistakes that I've shared have one root cause: the fear of losing control. The men who lose leverage are not the men who get left on red. Because that happens to almost everyone. But the men who lose leverage are the ones who reveal instability after it happens. See, if you can master the space between the stimulus and the response, you'll protect your position. So one thing I'll tell you is high-value men don't chase replies. They observe patterns. If she leaves you on red once, he continues his life. No emotional spike, no double texting, no drama, because one instance means nothing. Now, if it becomes a pattern, on the other hand, then what he'll do is adjust his investment. Do you notice the difference? He doesn't beg for attention, he reduces his. A lot of guys think the solution is to send better text messages, but no. The solution is to become more interesting in real life. When your life is full and you're building something, when you're improving your body, when you're improving your business, your network, you're not staring at your phone watching or waiting for validation from some woman. And here's something most dating coaches will not say clearly enough. If she repeatedly leaves you unread, it's two things. She's either unsure about you or exploring other options. That is modern dating. Accept it without ego. Your power comes from not competing for attention, but from redirecting yours. If she never replied again, would your life collapse? Or would you redirect your focus and keep building? That mindset shift alone changes your energy in every interaction. Listen, if you're getting real value from this video, please subscribe to the channel. Because this channel is about confidence, it's about attraction, and not losing yourself in modern dating dynamics. Instead of asking, why is she not replying? I need you to ask, what does this pattern tell me about her level of interest? Interest shows in consistency. If she likes you, she won't feel confused for long. You might wait an hour, maybe a few, but you'll not live in a constant state of ambiguity. Confusion is often a soft no. And high-value men don't argue with soft no's. They pivot. So stop initiating for a while. Match her energy. Let her come to you if she wants you. And if she doesn't, there is your clarity. There's no speech, just calm detachment. That's how you regain control without playing games. Before I go, here's the power move. See, the truth is, the moment you stop chasing responses, you stop bleeding leverage. Leaving you unread only hurts when your self-worth is attached to the reply. Detach from the outcome, and suddenly the silence becomes neutral. Women are attracted to men who are not emotionally held hostage by notifications. So, the next time you see seen with no reply, do nothing. Go to the gym, work on your business, call a friend, improve something, build something, become more. And then watch what happens.